And welcome back to Open Your Eyes. We're now moving into our final topic for the morning, social distancing and maintaining mental health. In to tell us all about it or to share with us what she knows, Jenny Lovell, mental health therapist. It's always nice to have you.
That's what I know. I went to research.
Yeah.
Did a whole lot of research.
Yeah.
It's
There
always
have been
nice
quite
to have
a
you.
bit of guidelines that have been put out.
Yeah.
And I wanted to clarify, because it's not just social distancing. It's
No.
actually how to
How to cope.
in
Yeah.
the midst of this
all this.
pandemic.
Yeah.
And you said something so important. You had to do research because this is the first time we've been here in our lifetime.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Places are closed. You see images of New York City, the city that never sleeps. It's actually quiet.
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 And we're not there yet in Belize, but even being exposed to these things, I don't want to say traumatic, but it's startling to your senses
Yes.
and what you know.
And what we see, in the States, we've seen people go on like shopping binges
yeah.
and buying everything. Toilet paper, you can't find toilet
Can't
paper
find it, yeah.
anywhere.
Yeah.
I went to a supermarket the other day,
Yeah.
and people looked stressed.
Yeah.
Yep.
And they were buying the ramen by the case, and buying food by the case, and the toilet paper. I mean,
Which is not a part of the symptoms of COVID-19.
No, it's not. So
Yeah.
I'm wondering why are we buying toilet paper?
Well, I read an article about it. They're saying that our behavior is prompted by empty shelves, and toilet paper takes up large spaces. So if you just take out a few, it looks like an empty shelf.
Yes.
And if it's empty, you feel like you have to get
You
it.
have to get it
because it may
because
not
it's
be
running out.
there afterwards.
Makes
Because
sense.
I was
Makes sense.
extremely fascinated by
By
why
what?
people are
The toilet
buying toilet
paper.
paper.
Yep.
There's also another theory too that at one point in the China outbreak, there was a rumor going around that you could make masks out of toilet paper, but I don't know about that one. The point is,
Very interesting.
people will have a lot.
Yeah.
It'll probably eventually be used, but it isn't necessary for COVID-19.
Right,
Yeah.
right. What's been interesting too is just we are not in the U.S. We don't have a case here yet.
Yeah.
But if you see the stress,
Yeah.
people are stressed, and then schools closing. I'll tell you what, cabin fever hasn't set in yet, but when that sets in, people will need to know some of the stuff I want to talk about
Cabin
today.
fever.
Cabin
Yeah.
fever, or what we call rock fever, or whatever
Yeah.
fever. It's
Being
being
locked
locked
up
up and not being able to get out. And then, social media becomes boring, and the children are told you cannot go out there because of the social distancing. So they're locked. Everybody's sort of locked in home, and now we have to interact.
We have to interact, yes.
And it's very stressful.
Yes, it is.
So let's start with the first part, right? Before we get to the social distancing. I'm worried about, my thought has been on people who have anxiety during this time.
Right.
Because there's a lot of uncertainty for everyone, including the experts.
Yeah.
What are some coping tips with all the information, with all the questions, with all the fears? How does one who already has a predisposition towards anxiety cope with this right now?
Okay, if people have been diagnosed, people who are diagnosed with depression or diagnosed with anxiety, it's important that you go in and get your medication.
Yeah.
And the ministry is allowing you to get double your medication. So
Yeah.
you need to have your medication present at home. Very important.
Yeah.
For people who will get stressed and become anxious, signs of anxiety, you know you're becoming anxious because your breathing becomes shallow,
Yeah.
and you're stressed about everything. So the anxious, when you begin to suffer from the anxiety, you really want to slow your breathing down,
Yeah.
right? Because the more your breathing goes out of control, the more anxious you become.
Yeah.
And people can really begin to have some serious problems, and you don't want to have to go to the hospital.
Yeah.
Okay, so really important that you start using what we call boxed breathing,
Okay.
and that's breathing in your nose, through your nose for 4, holding that breath for 4, and blowing out through your mouth for 4, and do it slowly to calm yourself down.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
People really need to learn that. Can I do that with you real quickly?
Sure.
So I want you to breathe in for 4 through your nose.
Okay.
You will hold it for 4, and then you will blow out through your mouth for 4. So I'll count for you. So breathe in, 2, 3, 4. Hold. 2, 3, 4. Exhale. 2, 3, 4. Breathe in. 2, 3, 4. Hold. 2, 3, 4. Exhale. 2, 3, 4. It's impossible to stay angry, to stay anxious, doing that kind of breathing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, it's what is used. It's what's called biofeedback.
Yeah.
Wow.
Okay,
Yeah.
and it's an excellent tool.
It is.
Excellent
It
tool.
is. It is.
All right.
Especially with the counting, you have no time to even think about being upset. You know, I'm focused on my breathing.
Focus on it. Yes.
Yeah.
Wow, it's
Yes.
beautiful. It's beautiful.
Okay.
So
that's-
definitely deep breathing.
Yes, you
That's-
really want to do that.
Yeah.
Other things, turn up. You know, you need to listen to the news, but turn off all of this because there's a lot of information coming at us.
Yeah.
And it's telling us about people who are dying, telling us all kinds of things. Turn off the television. Only turn on the stations that are giving you credible information. So you turn on a station that you trust, and that's all you listen to.
Yeah.
You
But don't watch it
really-
all day.
all day, don't.
Yeah.
Don't binge watch then.
No. People
If
are
you're
going
already
from-
anxious,
Right,
especially.
especially. People are turning on CNN, they're going to different, they're going to
Yeah.
different stations and just binging on this stuff. I want to hear it, really and truly.
Yeah.
In fact, I wasn't even aware about some of the murders that happened because I literally turned
Turned
everything
off
off. I
Yeah.
turned off and tuned out.
Yeah.
Right? So you really have to be, very aware. And then the other one is social media. You really want, social media sends you a lot of fake news. So you really want to be very, very cautious about what you're watching.
What you're
This
watching,
is
what
what
you're
I
reading.
see. And this is I think, and it just depends on what your frame of mind is. But it's almost, if you look at a chart, it's like this, like with social media, it's like high panic. There's a case, there's a this, there's a that. Somebody's at the border, and then it's clarified,
Right.
and then it's up again, and then it's out again.
Yeah.
And it's like just explaining it is exhausting. Imagine if you're living through it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes. I was talking to someone yesterday who was in Orange Walk when they thought they had a case,
Somebody
and
with a case there.
everybody was just like
Yes.
high anxiety.
Yeah.
And when I saw her, she was just beginning to calm down.
Wow.
Yeah,
know.
yeah.
I
But
mean,
what do you
literally.
do though? Because this is the part that I think is we know that we need to rely on credible sources.
Yeah.
And in anything, we've seen it most in hurricanes. That's perhaps the main thing that we can use to compare. We always get rumors. Like for some reason, someone decides they'll just say something is fact without it being true, and it spreads around. But why do we lose the control to kind of just think it through before just accepting the information?
Because people are scared.
Yeah.
We're scared. We're hyped up about what's happening. It's really important to choose just one source.
Yeah.
And I suggest you choose a local source that you trust. Just turn on Channel 5.
Yeah.
And that's what you turn on.
Yeah.
And turn it on
And
during
even if
the
you don't want
news
to do
periods.
news, go to the Ministry of Health
go to
the
or the
Ministry.
Office of
Right.
Director
Yes.
Health Services.
Right.
Yeah.
Normally, during a hurricane, you go to NEMO.
Yes.
Right? You find the source where you trust. Find the source you trust, and that's all you listen to. Right? And you don't want to have it on all day. I keep repeating that. Do not have it on all day.
Yeah.
It'll drive you absolutely crazy.
Definitely.
Now, one of the things that I notice here, we make fun of everything. We kind of lighten the mood. There's a group of people who really lighten the mood.
Yeah.
And you see the grass toilet paper
Yeah,
that they're
the
sending
jokes.
out, the jokes. And they tend to lighten, they lighten the mood.
Yeah.
So when you can laugh at yourself, that's a good thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right, that's a good thing. One of the things I want us to remember though are the children.
Yeah.
Because the children, we seem to forget that
is
they're
so true.
there. And it's really important that we remember they're here and they're hearing everything.
What do we say to them? Because I've not thought about that until you said it just now. The kids are going home for 2 weeks,
Yeah.
and the teachers have done some explanation, but I
Right.
think they want comfort from family.
Yeah.
Right.
What do you say to them to explain why this extra precaution is being taken without making them
They're
fearful?
fearful,
Yeah.
right. So we want to talk to them and let them know that this is, you can explain virus to a child, right? But this is like measles or something that is catching. And so it's really important that you do not touch your face. You want to explain those things, wash your hands. They're going to hopefully be home, but
Yeah.
if we go out anywhere, it's important that you don't go hug anybody, don't, because of this illness,
Yeah.
this bug.
Yeah.
Put it in terms that they understand.
they
you really want to
understand,
talk to them in
But how do
terms
you
they
let them
understand.
know that they need to take these steps, but that they're not at risk? Because I mean, imagine a 10, 11-year-old who understands what disease
Yes.
is.
Yes.
Um,
But again, you don't want them to panic,
Yeah.
right?
And yes, I
You
was just
don't
about
want
to
them
go
to
there.
be panicked. And so you really have to use, again, child-friendly language and let them know that you are going to family and we don't want you hugging, you want to wash your hands. It's very important to stress that.
Wash
and they
Because we
actually
don't
carry
know.
the most germs.
Yeah, we really, cooties.
They do though.
They do, cooties.
But okay, so,
So, but it's really important. You don't want them to start isolating family or being
Yeah.
afraid. We don't want
Yeah.
to send fear. So we want to tell them the information. It's important to tell them the information.
should I tell them that they may put they're doing it to protect grandma? Like, am I
Yes.
going to make them more scared of losing
No.
grandma? I don't know what the
No.
parameters
Yeah.
are
All
here.
we have to say is that this is a serious bug. It's a serious problem. We don't have to be afraid of that grandma's going to die because we're protecting grandma by not hugging grandma.
Yeah.
All right? We're protecting our grandparents, we're protecting the older persons
Yeah.
by not hugging. That's important to
Yeah.
let them know. And it's really, you have to emphasize, because little kids really are nasty, right? I mean, it's hard to say it like that. But they are.
It is
Ooh, cooties,
but the
cooties.
reality of the situation.
They just
We
have no
really
concept
want,
of.
we
Yeah.
really want to ensure that they understand the importance
Yeah.
of washing their little hands every chance they
And
get.
grandma might be the grandpa might be the babysitter when the kids are
Yeah.
at
At that
school
time,
because the
especially
parents
right
have
now.
to work.
Yes.
Especially right now.
Right, right.
So the protecting is, that's the key word that we're trying to protect.
Yes.
So talk with your
Talk
children.
to them
Don't
in
let
age information. Remember, age appropriate. Okay. Another thing that's really important. We don't want to call people who we don't have a case here yet,
yeah.
but we do want to stigmatize people.
Yes.
So when we get a case, it's really important that we don't call them victims,
Yeah.
especially in the media. We
Oh, I
don't want
agree.
to call
Yeah.
people victims.
I
We
agree.
don't want to call them the diseased or that diseased person.
Yeah.
No, they have the flu.
Yeah.
It's, it's a form of
Yeah.
flu.
Or they're a person with COVID-19.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
But we need to be very, very careful about stigmatizing
Of course. Of course.
folks.
Yeah.
So we don't do that by using derogatory words to single out that particular person.
Right.
All right. So
But again,
here we go.
information helps a lot.
Yeah.
And, you know, when there is a confirmed case, and depending on the amount of information that the Ministry of Health releases or that actually leaks, because, you know, we know Belize, what can we do to not feed into that panic that will happen then? We're not there yet, but from previous experiences, we kind of know, you know, like, oh, you can't go in that area, or it's in Corazal, or Orange Walk, or Belmopan, or in Kings Park, you know. How do we, is there anything we can say now to kind of give people
Well,
tools when that happens?
Let me just put this. In the States right now, people run from Chinese people.
Yeah.
They are throwing things at Chinese people. It's become really, really bad because the media started out with just sort of bombarding that this came out of China.
Yeah.
China.
Right, yeah. And people stopped buying from Chinese
Chinese.
stores and all kinds of things. And that has perpetuated, it's kept on going, it hasn't
Yeah.
stopped.
Yeah.
So here we want to make sure that we stop that before it starts.
Yeah.
We don't want to create a prejudice, or we don't want to have that kind of thing perpetuated and happening. So we start off by telling our people this is a form of the flu. It's happening everywhere. So far we have been blessed that we don't have it here. But when it happens, or I don't even want to say when, if it happens, right? Because I come from the school of thought, that what you focus on perpetuates and
No,
gets
you
bigger.
are the eternal optimist that we love.
Yes.
So if we talk too much about stuff, I feel like
Yeah.
you bring it into
the
reality.
universe.
Yeah.
So I do not want that stuff in the universe. So if
Okay.
okay, but the thing is that when it's a form of flu, it's a form of the flu, and so but this form of the flu tends to be it's a heavy virus. So it tends to stick onto things. It sticks onto metal. So we need to be fastidious. We have to
Yes.
be very, very careful. Get your wipes. Wipe down.
Wipe down,
People who are on the
yes.
buses, especially, you don't want to be. And I see this all the time. That's why I've stopped using the bus. They'll sneeze with no cover, and if you sneeze into a paper, you want to throw it away. Don't leave it there for somebody to come clean up for
Dispose
you.
of it in the
the
garbage bin.
Yes.
Well, it's probably a good idea if the bus puts a garbage bin or a garbage plastic bag in there to help too.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. But don't. I've seen people sneeze and do that
Wipe
number
that and just wipe
then
some,
touch
yes.
stuff. You know.
Wash their hand and still wipe it on there.
Yeah. Ugh. So,
Okay, so-
so the thing is that what we're saying is that people need to be aware,
Yeah.
but let's not get crazy
Yeah.
about how we treat people
Yeah.
who may get ill.
Yeah.
All right. What else?
So we talked of looking at reducing anxiety now. We'll review the steps because we really want people to know. Don't watch the news all day. Don't
Lord,
watch.
don't binge it.
Don't binge
Don't,
it,
don't
yeah,
do it.
because you don't want to be bombarded by all this information, especially if it's making you anxious already.
Yeah.
Find your reliable source that you'll check in on.
Right.
Don't consume social media all day as well if it's also adding to your anxiety.
Right. It's important that you do things like exercise.
Yes.
Exercise.
Yeah.
Do
Which is two things: boost your immune system and reduce your stress level.
That's
Right.
right.
Yeah.
That's right.
You really want to get some exercising. Develop things that you can do as a family if
Yeah.
you're home together.
Read great novels together.
Read.
Yes.
Exactly. Read.
Yes.
Develop
brain
that-
power.
Yes.
So we're gonna talk to the kids. We gotta tell them what's happening. We gotta explain it in the best language we can without making them very scared about it.
We're going
and
to teach them how to wash their hands and do it in a fun way so that it becomes a style for them. It becomes
Yeah.
something that sticks with them. So read great novels to them.
Yeah.
You know, so get them into that mood of wanting to hear good things. So these are some of the things we could do with our children.
How do you talk to people about dealing with the uncertainties? Because that's the hard part. You know, there's a lot that we don't know.
Yes.
And I think people get frustrated when officials, and you see it a lot of times, like the WHO press conferences, where they're just very clear. They're like, we don't know yet. This is a new virus. We're not sure yet. This is what we think, but we're not sure. They're very clear in the uncertainty. But uncertainty in itself is scary for a lot of people.
Yeah. I hear a lot of folks are being upset because how many testing kits are there? And where are the testing kits? And what happens if we get it? What's the medication? Do we have enough medication? You know, they're way up there already. We don't even have it here yet. I'm praying that we don't get it. Let's keep optimistic and
Yeah.
let's believe that it will not come here. We have to believe that.
Yeah.
Right? But it's so important then that we are able to maintain this sense of let's have information,
Yeah.
but let's have faith. Let's talk to our children. Let's talk to each other, and let's make sure that there's good information, solid information out there, not junk information. Right? Let's maintain the anxiety level by exercising, by deep breathing, by informing our children. Let's try to be nice and gentle to each other too while going through this.
Yeah.
It's very nerve-wracking when you don't have information or we don't know. But we have to just take the best information.
And it builds a lot of cynicism and mistrust.
Yes, yes it does. Yes it does. There was something I wanted to, but I can't remember what it was. I just read it this morning. Oh yes, I know what it is. I was talking to the young man in there, and he was saying that his daughter is just like really upset right now because she's home and she can't go there. She feels like she's on lockdown,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And yes, the teenagers will feel like they're on lockdown.
Yeah.
So you've got to talk with them and find things for them to do,
Yeah.
right? They cannot be out there socializing with each other and touching, because you know we can't help it in Belize. We
Oh my
touch.
gosh, this is why I'm
We
folding my
touch.
arms. This is not body language.
She's just saying it's his
I
body.
am
It is the truth.
struggling with
It is the
not
truth.
touching
It is the
face surfaces.
Yes.
It's
Yeah, it is
hard.
the
We
truth.
are we're a society of touchers.
I'm a bit like
Yeah.
yeah, you know that. As soon as
Yeah.
you walk in, and it's
Yeah.
having that boundary, it almost
Yeah.
it
We
feels
have-
unnatural.
We really have to set boundaries. This is going to change a lot of things in the
Yeah.
world and in our country. But we are a touchy-feely group of people.
That's who we are.
Yeah.
you
Yeah,
know.
and so we have to really be careful, and you really have to talk to your children that right now, for the next 14 days,
Yeah.
we have to sit at home and watch to see what happens.
Yeah.
It's a protection for you. Let's find something fun for you to
Yeah.
do.
So, two
Right.
schools of thoughts here, and I'd love for you to talk about it for us. One, there is the younger population, us included, that are just like, you know, it's just the flu. We're going to be fine. I'm not going to be sick. I won't even feel symptoms. So, what are you stressing about? How do you communicate or help someone like that to understand risks? Because this is the difference. It's like,
Yeah.
I don't have to worry, you do.
Yeah. The thing is that young people believe that,
Naturally, we're invincible.
yeah, they're
Yeah.
invincible. And so reaching them is very, very difficult. You have to just give them facts and then set some boundaries.
Yeah.
You have to set boundaries. The prime minister set some boundaries. No gathering of more than 100 people.
than
That's a
100 people,
boundary.
that's a boundary
That tells
indeed.
them you're not going to go out there and do stuff. The football people have shut down all the games. That's the
And
only way you
EBL,
deal with young
yeah.
people.
Yeah.
Yes.
Is because they're going to go do. So you have to set boundaries.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
And
You know,
how do you comfort people who are at risk?
older people are
Well, you have
very afraid.
older, you have diabetics,
Health workers
you have
too.
renal patients, you
Yep.
have
Yep.
hypertensives,
Yep.
you have people with heart conditions.
Yep.
And these ones span different age ranges other than just older people. People who are already in a fight,
For their lives.
who are already facing cancer,
Yeah.
and trying to do treatment for that, they're at risk.
And
Imagine
they're
how
dependent
they
on
feel.
other people.
Yeah.
And they're entirely dependent. You know, I think of dialysis patients.
Yeah.
They have to leave their house.
Yep.
They have to go out and get their dialysis done. This is how they stay alive.
Yeah.
Yep.
And we know how expensive it is. Even with the Ministry of Health, you have to find a couple hundreds for one treatment a week. What if I have to catch public transportation to
To
go
get
to my
to, yeah, from
dialysis
point A to
treatment?
point
Or
B.
even the taxi, because I don't know who was in there before.
Yeah.
How do we comfort those people?
That's a tough one.
That's a tough one.
Because the reality is they're dependent on others.
Yeah.
And they're dependent upon others doing the right thing.
Yes.
So we really are dependent upon you, everybody
We're
out
dependent
here
on
to
each
doing,
other.
yes,
Yes.
doing the right thing. There's not even any way really, the only way to comfort someone who is in that position is serenity prayer.
Yeah.
God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. And I surrender and I place myself in your hands.
Yeah.
Because seriously, there is really no way, because you are dependent on others
Yeah.
to do the right thing
That's
and
right.
to take care of you and be making sure that they don't contaminate you.
Yeah.
There's really no way to really, and to hopefully tell them some ways to deal with the anxiety and the fear,
Yeah.
Yeah.
you know? And
But we
again,
can't help them. I mean, there's
No, there
beautiful
isn't.
stories that I've seen with, you know, people leaving notes for the elderly and saying, listen, if you don't want to go out, I'll go out and buy it for you.
Yeah.
Yep.
Or if you need to have something, food delivered, I'll deliver it for you.
Yes.
Don't worry, I've washed my hands.
Yes.
So where people step in because
check on
they
them.
have,
You need to really make sure you check on your population, the people out there who are helpless. Or
Yeah.
I don't want to say helpless, but they're
Who are
dependent.
more at risk.
Or,
They're
yeah,
more
who are
at
more
risk.
vulnerable.
Yes.
Yes.
You really want to check in with them. You want to call, check in, let them know that you're
Yeah.
here.
Yeah.
You can help. But that's the best that we can do.
yeah.
It's, you know, it's soothing to the mind knowing that you've got help.
Yeah.
And you've
people
got
are
people who
reaching
cares
out
for
to
you.
you. Yeah.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah. Because you're, especially if you get ill and you're at home sick.
Yeah.
I just touched my face.
I know. It is hard.
It is definitely hard.
This will be the challenge.
At a time like this, your face.
I'm telling you, this is the only thing that helps me. But it means now that I can't cough into my elbow.
Yeah. But wow.
Yeah.
And that's just it's taking a lot of precaution, and
Yeah.
we need to be there for each other, and I
Trying
think
to
that's
not
just it.
get nervous by limiting how much you listen to.
Yeah.
At first, I was listening to it from abroad and listening to it. And I was like,
Locally,
wait a minute, I
and
know
there's so
better
many
than
things,
this.
yes.
Yeah.
There's so many things going on at the same time.
It's such a unique situation, and we I mean, we're all finding our way through it. And we have to do so collectively. There's no rule book, there's no guide, there's no handbook. The virus is new. The way it's spreading, it's new. What it's doing is relatively new. I mean, because you can call it like a cold, but the difference is that young babies aren't affected the way a flu would do it. So there's so much that we're learning. But I also think one of the key things, just double check your information. You know, I tend to tell people that a lot. Like they send me something, they're like, is this true? Just a Google, just one Google search.
Yeah,
you know,
go to Who, check it out.
Is it true that weed kills coronavirus?
Yeah.
Which
Drinking
was one.
bleach.
Drinking bleach, which did happen.
People are saying rum.
Yeah.
They're saying so many different things.
Is it true?
Yeah.
Google it. Just one extra step.
Yeah.
To put your own mind at ease, so you don't go through those highs and lows all day long.
Yeah. Wow.
All right.
The conversation, though, having the conversation is also a form of saying, you know what, we could do this.
Can I ask one more question?
Sure.
If I have anxiety, diagnosed anxiety, and I have to get my medication, but it's also probably good to check in with my therapist or PMP.
Yeah.
What's your recommendation? If I have to go to a PMP, I have to go to a clinic, which exposes.
Girl, I would call and ask if they WhatsApp.
Okay.
Because WhatsApp has a camera.
Okay.
Avoid going into hospitals. Avoid going into a clinic.
Yeah.
As much as possible. Don't do that.
So, work out with your counselor, your PMP, your therapist to
Unless
maybe
it's
just talk
one-on-one.
things
Oh,
through.
yeah.
Unless
yeah,
it's
yeah.
one-on-one.
Yeah.
But if you have to go to a clinic, I strongly suggest that you
Yeah.
call. We are dependent upon each other at this point.
Yes.
That everybody is adhering and doing the things that are necessary to keep this virus at bay.
Yeah.
We're
Yeah.
totally dependent.
What?
we're getting the word. Shut up.
Yeah.
Is that what that is? I think they were practicing hand washing over there.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jenny, do you know how to wash your hands properly?
Of course.
Let me see.
Sing happy birthday. And we start by going in here. We're going here. We wash all these fingers. Make sure we do the
Wash your
nails. Wash all the
Good
fingers.
job.
Yes, sir.
The
Woohoo.
back of the hand.
Yeah,
the wrist.
What you do here, you do here.
Your tip.
Yes, spiders. You call it spiders.
Spiders?
Yes.
Okay, I didn't do that one.
And you do this one as well.
Uh-huh.
Yes, and as
Okay.
long as when you're finished there, you turn your hands down so all the germs can be washed
Washed
off.
off.
Yes.
Woohoo, I love
You get a
it.
piece of paper towel, paper napkin, wipe that up, and then you dispose of
Well,
it.
close your faucet with it.
Close the faucet with it and dispose of it.
Especially in those bathrooms.
So
Use
there's so many things
paper
we need
to
to learn.
open
We're
doors.
we're learning.
But
and
we're
We're
learning.
gonna keep on.
I
talking
went to a restaurant the other day, and the owner had a sign up that said, I have sanitized my restaurant and I keep sanitizing it throughout the day. Please help by sanitizing your hands when you come through the door.
Yes.
Yeah.
And really and truly leave hand sanitizer everywhere so everyone can use it.
Yes.
Right.
But remember, hand sanitizer is secondary. Soap and water. Primary.
Yes, but I'm saying if he has his place already sanitized, when you come in there, it's really important that you sanitize yourself too.
Yes.
Go to the bathroom, wash your hands.
Wash your hands.
Hopefully,
Go
but
back to your seat. We
yeah.
get your food, eat, go and wash your hands.
Yeah.
All right.
We got it.
And so once again, just those coping skills, deep breathing. Don't overwhelm yourself with too much information.
No, please
Talk
don't.
with the kids.
Exercise,
Talk
get
with your
sleep,
loved ones.
get lots of sleep. seriously, that's really important.
That's also good for your
Yeah,
immune system.
it's good
Yeah,
for your immune
rest is
system.
best.
So you're built. She's telling us to shut up.
Yes.
Stephanie, is this guilt happening over here? Or producer?
Yeah, we need to go is what she's saying.
All right. Well, Jenny, we appreciate
Jenny, thank
it.
you so very much. Thank
We
you.
know that mental health is as important as the rest of our body.
Yes, it is.
We got to keep cleaning it
Yes,
if
it
we
is.
can,
Yes, we do.
as we do our hands.
And don't forget the children. Please do
Yeah,
not forget the
you
children.
are so right.
Yeah.
And I think that's one of the things we've neglected to say in all of this up to this point. So thank you so much for bringing that
Thank
to our
you, thank
attention.
you, thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
We're going to
All
go
right.
ahead and take that break. And when we come back, we'll have our wrap up. So stay tuned.